Hi everyone today. My name is Shigewami, an immigration lawyer at Narita Legal Office. Please call me Essay. This time I made a video to introduce the system that labor can work in Japan. Principally, this system applies to people for any country. Please come to Japan and work. How foreigners can qualify specified skilled workers and become permanent residents of Japan. Today I would like to tell you about how foreigners can get SSW residency status and become permanent residents of Japan. Let's get an SSW residency status on your own. This is my slogan. On your own means you do not use a sending agency or brokers. Why you should not use sending as agency or brokers? Reason is very simple, because they demand a lot of rebate from you. Foreigners are living overseas here now. The person will pass the Japanese language test and proficiency test. Then you will be able to conclude an employment contract with a Japanese company. And for 5 years you can work in Japan with the SSW1 residency status. After working for 5 years, you will be eligible to take the SSW2 test. If you pass the SSW2 test, you will see your goal of becoming an permanent resident. Currently, Japan has bilateral agreement with 12 countries, including the Philippines. This is expected to increase in the future. The main purpose of the bilateral agreement is eliminate malicious brokers. In those countries, it is common to conclude a Japanese language test, a proficiency test, and an employment contract with a Japanese company through a sending agency based on bilateral agreement. This is a adjusted system from the idea of protecting one's own people. However, the actual operation of this system is far from the idea. For example, a sending agency may request a large amount of rebate, and foreigner may incur a large amount of debit. The system of self-protection can result in this tracing the self-nation. It's ironic. I will sort out the problem. 1. Japanese government does not require the intervention of a sending agency. 2. However, some countries require the intervention of a sending agency. Find out more about the system in your country. 3. If your country does not require the intervention of a sending agency, you should not use it, because the usage fee for the sending agency is not free, often expensive. Also, the sending agency itself and its surroundings may be corrupt and harm your interest. That is, you may be the target of exploitation. 5. Even if you have to use the sending agency, do not respond to unreasonable demand or borrow money. Next, let's talk about the language test. For the Japanese language proficiency test, should pass the N4 or above. The Japanese language proficiency test is held twice a year in 147 cities in 46 countries around the world. There is also the Japanese Foundation Japanese Basic Test. However, this test is only conducted once a year in several countries around the world. So, you should choose the Japanese language proficiency test. Second, let's talk about the labor skill test. The labor skill test will be conducted by following 14 industries: construction, shipbuilding, ship industry, nursing care, building sweeping, raw metal industry, industrial machinery manufacturing industry, electronic information related industry, automobile maintenance, aviation, accommodation, agriculture, fishery, food and beverage manufacturing industry, restaurant industry. These tests are held every year in Japan and several foreign countries. It is possible for foreigners to come to Japan with a short-term visa and take this test. Technical intern training to foreigners who have completed excellent grade are exempt from all tests. If you are aiming for permanent residence, be sure to select the construction, shipbuilding, and shipbuilding industry test. We will see why later. Foreigners who wish to have status of residence with SSW must be at least 18 years old, healthy, and have a passport. Also, foreigners have not paid security money, etc., to sending agency to prevent employee turnover, etc. Then nationality does not matter. We currently have bilateral agreement with 12 countries. However, this does not mean that nationals other than the 12 countries cannot get SSW status of residence. Any nationality can get an SSW status of residence if they pass the test. For example, even if an American can work for a Japanese construction company, if he passes the test. Over more, foreigners currently residing in Japan, such as international students, can change their status of residence and work if they pass the test. The next slogan is, "Let's get a job at a Japanese company on your own." Let's get a job at a Japanese company on your own. There is basically no labor shortage for occupation defined by SSW, so there is no need to use an employment placement agency that requires a referral fee. Find a job on free internet job site. Do not waste your money. When an employment contract is concluded with a Japanese company, foreigners have various rights. The reward is same as or higher than Japanese. Transfer rewards to deposit and saving accounts. Support securing housing. Prohibit of dismissal within 1 year. Job change possible within same business category. Public pension insurance, national health insurance, unemployment insurance. However, those rights also make no sense if they are not actually fulfilled. Therefore, the Immigration Bureau of Japan's Immigration Bureau's Acceptance Environment Investigation Officer will monitor the performance status. Also, registration support organizations carry out similar monitoring. And SSW foreigner can file comparament with the AEIO or RSO if the promise is not fulfilled. Japanese bureaucracy is so clean that it is safe to assume that it will respond appropriately to complaints. Then, the employment contract is concluded. You will actually enter Japan. After working for 5 years, you will be eligible to take the SSW2 test. Japan is a safety country where bribes do not work. Human rights are respected. Property rights are strictly protected. Anyone can get medical care cheaply. The pension level that you can live in. The water and air are clean. The food is delicious and safe. By all means, I would like you to aim for permanent residence. If you get the SSW1 and then take the SSW2 test and pass, the upper limit of the period of stay will be removed. You will also be able to bring your spouse and children with you. After 10 years with SSW2, you will be able to get permanent residence. Of course, compliance with the law is a prerequisite. The SSW2 test is concluded only in the construction and shipbuilding industry. This is the reason why you have to choose between the construction and shipbuilding industry when you aim for permanent residence. If you fail, you will have to return or change your status of residence. I would like to summarize the above story. The SSW system is a labor contract that guarantees human rights. It is not slavery or a domestic colony. The SSW system has been devised in various ways to protect human rights. The system expected to be expanded in the future. Foreigners who want to work in Japan using the SSW system should prepare themselves carefully and not rely on others. Studying Japanese is important. If you can't speak Japanese, you can't work safely. If you can't speak Japanese, you can't understand how Japanese society works. If you can't speak Japanese, you can't protect your right. Even if you do not want to live permanently in Japan, being able to speak Japanese and having experience in Japan will be useful for you. If you can speak Japanese, you may be able to get a job at Japanese company in your home country. Become an interpreter or become tourist guide. Japan needs young, talented people. It is attached to the explanation column below, such as Japanese language learning, test information, employment information, etc. If you have any question, please email me. Email consultation is completely free. This project is stagnant now because of the coronavirus, but corona will definitely end. Please be well prepared for that time. How was the content of this story? We would appreciate it if you could subscribe and comment. I hope to see you in Japan. Thank you for your watching today, and bye.